So I just finished a deep meditation with my Lemurian crystal with Hibiscus Moon, and I wanted to share with y'all my experience and kind of how the meditation went.
'Cause we're born free, the way we should be, with no one telling us how to love, and no more getting on our knees, and everybody say hi.
Alright, first off, Lemurian crystals. Alright, I've been diving into them for probably about the last 3 months or so, trying to be able to educate myself on the history as well as educate myself on the crystals as well. What I mean by the history is who the Lemurians were, where they came from, or as much as I could be able to find, so that's some of the research that I've been doing for the past about 3 months or so. And I want to say, what was it, last month, I was able to finally obtain some Lemurian crystals at the last gem fair that I went to. And ever since then, I've been super intrigued. Now, I got 2 at the last gem fair. One I got the first day, and that's the one that I meditated with. Now, I had some confusion. I had some, I had some doubt, but the doubt that I had on this crystal that I'm going to show you was mainly just from the information that I've been, seeing and learning online here. However, when I spoke with the seller, they had an area of, crystals that were from the Diamantina mine down in Brazil. They said that it was by the one family that I believe has access still. They had opened this one up sometime within the last 5 years, and these are the newest ones to have said come from the Diamantina location. They said there's been a couple different areas around that mine that they've had over the years since it's been there, but majority of them have been closed, and this one family that I guess owns the land there, they open up certain sections and will allow for a little bit of mining for a short period of time to take place. So the ones that they had there in this one little tiny section were the newest ones that came out. Now, the confusing part for me is that in order to be a Lemurian, which is said, it has to have the striations, it has to have a couple different characteristics in order to make it a real Lemurian. Now, when I asked the seller, they said that they were starting to pull out some of these newer ones that didn't have the striations in it, and the clarity was much clearer. So, all right, this is the one that I grabbed that really resonated with me. Now, as you can see, there are no striations here. Now, I asked, was this polished? And they said no. This is exactly just how it came out. Look at that. Beautiful. You can see here with, is obviously the seed crystal because, it was, it's not attached to anything. Obviously, it fell off. Now, they said that some of them either fell off, coming in the sand, or there's the stories that they were placed in the sand. No one quite knows. But for me, why I chose this one, I had 3 that I was looking at. This was the first one that I picked up. I noticed some of the characteristics were a little different. There was a few that were like this. Now, I noticed that a couple of the characteristics were a little bit different. All right, no striations. There was just a little bit of difference between some of the other ones. Now, again, I said there was a couple that were like this, and then the other ones had the striations and all the normal stuff that, categorize a crystal as a Lemurian. But when I picked this one up, I spent, probably 10 minutes just really looking at it, thinking about it, and all that kind of stuff. And it really just resonated with me to the point that I put it down. They're expensive. And I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go think about it and I'll come back. I spent an hour walking around the gem fair, and all I could think about was this specific one. So after walking around, checking out everything else, I made my way back to this crystal. And I was like, all right, I'm back. They laughed. They're like, oh, you're back. I said, yeah, I'm gonna get that one. And again, the way it resonated with me, the way that I felt, the way that I could not get it out of my brain as I was walking around looking at all kinds of other amazing crystals and everything, this one I just had that feeling. So I've taken all of the characteristics that have been said. The fact that this one doesn't have the striations, I've let that go. And I focused in on just letting it be and connecting to that intuitive feeling that I had with it. And to be honest, it hasn't really left. I meditate with it every morning. I'm excited to start my morning and my day with this piece. And again, like the excitement and the love. It's a weird feeling, this love feeling for this crystal. I've never thought that I would be like, oh, I love it. And it's not like it's a totally different type of love. It's more of like a connection. I don't know. If you have children, if you have an animal, or if you have something that, is a spiritual being in your life, in this physical life, that like you just have that inner love for, that you just love spending time with, that you just love their presence and all that kind of stuff, that's the type of love that I'm feeling, not like a lustful love or anything like that. All right, but that has not left my feeling with this crystal since I've had it, and I've had it now for going on over a month now, and I still have the same excitement, the same love for it. So it's a very special crystal for me. Now, I wanted to show you the other one that I got, and see if we can see here, but see, you can see the striations right there. This is the cloudy side. Then you got the super clear, we got the cloudy, we got the clear. Now this one, all right, is said to be a shovel head. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but you can see that triangle right there. All right, now this one, all right, is actually a Colombian, all right, Lemurian crystal. I forget the exact mine that it was from, but I got this from a seller. He gave me all the information. Since it was a smaller one, it's still quite expensive for the size compared to a normal crystal. But this one has those striations in it. It's a little bit more banged up. It's still got great clarity and stuff. I still have a good resonant feeling with it. However, nothing compares to what I feel with this one. I still work with this one way more. I've been doing some solo meditations with this one, and just really figuring out why it came into my life and what we're supposed to do. Now this one, I feel like it obviously has a different purpose. And as I'm getting into grids, as I'm getting into all kinds of different stuff, I really have the feeling that this is going to serve that purpose, to work with grids, to do different things with than this one. This one I feel like is more so just for me, for my work. I wouldn't use this to work with anyone else or for anything else, just besides my own meditation and whatnot, if that makes sense. So again, this is a Colombian, all right, Lemurian, and so far this is the only place, the only seller that I've found that has the Colombian Lemurians. Still an absolute beautiful crystal. Again, it's got the that triangle right up in there, and it's just beautiful. All right, but again, different purpose than this one. Now, with the meditation that I just went through with Hibiscus Moon, it's quite awesome. A totally different meditation than I've ever experienced. Now, the first thing that we did, which was very interesting, is most of the people in videos and research that I did, they said, go take it out into the light, and that's how you're going to activate it. Get it into the sun, let the sun reflect through it, and that's what will activate it. Which, that light energy totally makes sense. But what she had us use was a laser, all right, a laser pointer. So I picked up a red laser pointer, and what we did, we just kind of scanned over, or what I did, at least from what I thought she was explaining to do, was just scan over the crystal, and supposedly with that laser light, all right, that laser light really activates the power. Now again, she was saying it's got to have the striations in it, it's got to do all that stuff. I let that go. Like I said, I let the striations go. I let what, is judged to be a Lemurian, I let all that go. I focused on my own intuition, my own feeling, and what I feel and know that this crystal is and what it's supposed to do for me. So I went over all the same things, even though some things didn't quite match up. Everything else matches up, just not the striations. And if the seller was truthful and honest, then, you can start looking for some of these clear ones without those striations. Look at that. Oh, can you feel that? Yeah, beautiful. Look at those lines, that light coming off of there. That's amazing. Anyways, all right, so we did that. And we went through a deep meditation. Now, a big thing with the Lemurians and everything that's said, if you're into dolphins, if you're into whales, the sound, that high-pitched sound that they make, that frequency, all right, supposedly that is to be connected to the Lemurians, all right, that frequency. Now, honestly, even before I went into this, a lot of things dealing with dolphins have been coming into my life. I've been coming across a bunch of different videos for whatever reason. I've always been connected to the ocean. I grew up surfing my whole life. I spent more time at the beach than I did want to go to school, even because my school was like a block away from my favorite surf spot called Wind and Sea here in San Diego. So I was always at the beach, in the water, surfing, and I wasn't going to school. I would just leave, especially when I had a car, put my surf stuff in there. I would drive to school, stay at school as long as I could, mentally, and then I was like, I'm out of here, I'm going surfing. Screw this. So anyway, I still graduated and everything. I did fine, and I had the best grades in the class. Actually, funny story, is I got in trouble. My English teacher, senior year of high school, went off on me because I was like, hey, I got to go fix my car in auto shop. She's like, you're never here. You can't leave. I said, oh yeah? How about this? How about you look at what my grade is, and if my grade is below an A, then I'll stay. If my grade is above an A, and if my grade is one of the highest grades in the class, then I think you should let me leave. Let's see. And we did this in front of the whole class. Sure enough, I had the 5th highest grade in the class. I had an A+. So I got her. I'm a punk. I'm a rule breaker. I don't like anyone telling me what I gotta do or anything, even back then. So she let me go fix my car. Plus, I told her, like, hey, look, I've got a job. I'm here, I work, I gotta pay my own bills, my cell phone bill, my gas. I was into partying and all that, so like booze and drugs and all that kind of stuff. My guitar stuff, because I played in bands. If you listen to my story, you know how my high school life went. It was a little bit crazy. So if you want to dive into that, you can go listen to my personal stories. I recommend you start from episode 1 and go all the way through, because it'll make a lot more sense about who I am and how I've gotten to the point that I have. So anyways, back to the meditation, all right? Dolphins and whales. We meditated to dolphin and whale sounds. Now, what she educated us on is that the dolphin and whale sounds activate and are in the same frequency and vibration as the theta brainwaves. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know much about theta brainwaves, but I know that I believe there's obviously the theta brainwaves, and I do believe that there's GABA brainwaves. And personally, I actually take a GABA pill every night, supplement every night, to be able to help bring in and amplify those brainwaves. But I do need to do a little bit more research to recommend anything. So again, still something that I got to educate myself on further. But we went through this meditation. I kept this over my heart space, over the heart chakra, after I activated it with the laser, and I did a red laser, pointer over it to activate it, supposedly. Put it over my heart chakra, we went into the meditation. The meditation started off at the beach. Now, just 2 days ago, me and the family went to the beach, and we went to one of my favorite spots called Hospitals. It's more of like a tide pool area. We went as the tide was going out low. It was beautiful. Right now I live probably about 45 minutes away from the beach, which is the furthest I've ever lived from the beach in my life. So right now we've got these thunderstorms and stuff like that as it's September, coming out of summer, going into fall, and we get a lot of these thunderstorms, hurricane residue coming out of Mexico and whatnot. So out here where I'm at, the clouds came over, there was even thunder and lightning and possible rain, so we're like, it's really gloomy and we got that type of stormy energy. Let's go see what we can do at the beach. It's still really hot and humid, so it was gonna be nice to, you know, get probably about a 5 to 10 temperature decrease and be at the beach, right? So we went there, the clouds were not over the beach. The sun was shining, it was beautiful, it was probably about 85 degrees. Tide was going low, all the tide pools were out. It was beautiful. There wasn't a lot of people there, and we were able to find this one little area for my little one. He's almost about a year and a half. For him, this little pool, this tide pool that came up into this little pool, into the sand. There was a waterfall from another tide pool that was coming down at the back of it. It was just absolutely amazing and just beautiful. If you check out my Instagram, I'll be posting actually some of the videos that I took because it was just so amazing. But she said to start to visualize, you know, on the beach, feet in the sand, water. So I took myself right to that spot. It's just because it was so recent within, you know, my life currently. 2 days ago, I was able to vividly see the exact same thing. You want to know, there was this one point where I looked down at my feet, it was crystal clear water, there was all these rocks and seashells and hermit crabs walking around over my feet. And I remember vividly seeing that and then looking up into the horizon where, you know, where the ocean was and the sun and all that. And it was a very memorable moment that I really focused in on, just really soaking this moment in just because it was just so beautiful. So I brought myself back to that. Then there was also another point in our time at the beach the other day where I saw that there was this rock that was a little further actually out into the water. But I saw that there was a way for me to navigate and get out there. Now I like to take my kids out, be surrounded by water with me, to more so my intuition of that is to allow them to know that they're safe and secure with me. You're surrounded by water. Every single place, we're probably 100 feet off the shore and where everyone else is, and got to this rock. I was able to walk out there. Sometimes I'll swim out there and I'll bring them out there and we'll just sit there and just me and them, feeling the waves crashing up, the mist, all that kind of stuff. So I also brought myself to that place. But in this meditation, I wasn't with my son, I was by myself. And at that point, surrounded in the water on this rock, she talked to us about being lifted up in the sky. Now the weird thing was with this meditation, okay, sorry about that. My headphones, I'm using headphones because we got air conditioners out here and stuff, they make a lot of noise. So I try to put the headphones on to mitigate that as I've watched in some of the videos, and it's kind of distracting, and it's just, I want to try to get rid of that as much as I can. But I'm kind of limited with what I got going on. It's still in the 90s and we need the air conditioning because it's hot, especially with the little ones. So anyways, all right, with this meditation, there was a lot of things that I was seeing myself doing within the meditation. Then later she said to visualize that. So it was very interesting that I was kind of slowly moving ahead of her meditation into the next step, and then she says, hey, you're like, start visualizing this, but I was already seeing it, which was really interesting. So as I was on this rock, surrounded in the water by myself, I started slowly just lifting up. Now, I've been really into the astral traveling and all of that and understanding that, and it was kind of an experience like that. Now, I'm still working a lot on that. I don't have any experience of, I've astral traveled and all this. No. All right, it's still something that I am working on, that I'm practicing, and still trying to really experience. And this time, it was super easy. Like, I just started lifting up off this rock into the clouds and soaring and flying and just completely let go of everything and just an extreme bliss feeling. And as I did, I slowly drifted up into the clouds and went into like this different dimension. And then she said, start to lift up into the sky. She said, there's a cloud that's gonna come underneath you. I didn't really see the cloud come underneath me, but I went through the clouds, above the clouds, feeling the clouds, touching them, just kind of just floating within them, if that makes sense. And then all of a sudden, I got through them, and then I was like underwater, but like totally fine, breathing underwater with this real bluish, aquamarine, hints of green, just beautiful, beautiful water. And there were a few dolphins that were not necessarily swimming, but just kind of like upright, just chilling. And all of a sudden, I started moving my hands, and I could see like this goldish, fiery, instead of bubbles, as I stroked through, it was like this goldish, fiery type of molecules that were blowing around with, with my hand, as well as showing the tailings of where my hand was going. And to me, that really represented being able to work with the energy that was in this place that I was in. And then after that, slowly, as I was going with this, I brought my hands up and I put my hands out, and I saw this white light coming out of my hands. And she didn't say any of that, this is just what I saw. And then as I went through there, I kind of turned around and started swimming, and then all of a sudden I visualized myself coming out of the water on this island that I had never been to before. Beautiful, lush jungle and everything like that. And as I got to the island, there was one person was on my left and was in like a whitish gray robe type thing. Didn't say anything, but kind of just nodded his head and smiled and showed me like go through the jungle. And at this point, I kind of just stood there in awe. I kept seeing myself coming out of the water, as well as continued, then flipped over from my own vision and seeing the jungle. Now, we did another meditation. It was something to do with the heart chakra and bringing this energy in through the heart chakra. And when we did this first meditation, what I started visualizing was this house that I lived in and my family lived in. I was out on the deck outside of what seemed to be our living room, our family room, and I could see all of this green land, rolling hills, and then from there, she's talked about being able to protrude out this light coming from the heart chakra, and that light coming up and taking over, going straight up and down and creating this pyramid over this space that I was in. And for me, it was this house that supposedly myself and my family were living in, which honestly, this house really resonates with what I've been manifesting. However, this is the first time that I've seen it. It's very weird. So yeah, it was in this big glass pyramid of energy force field that I eventually started, seeing. Now, back to the Lemurian meditation where I came out of the water, I'm seeing the jungle, I see the person over here in the robes showing me this is the way. But at the very top, like all the way through the jungle, up on a hill, I saw the pyramid, the glass pyramid. And so to me, I automatically assumed like, that is my house. I spent some time there and we finished the meditation right there, at least it finished for me. We came out of it and yeah, so, I'm not gonna worry about thinking about what all that meant. I'm not gonna worry about anything. I'm gonna leave it as it is. And I'm gonna let whatever comes into play, come into play from here. But overall, just wanted to share with you this experience. Like I said, it was very interesting to go through a meditation like that, but also be, from what seemed to me, a few steps ahead from the direction that it was going. It was almost like it was just happening, synergistically or intuitively, as what was supposed to happen. And so it was unlike any other type of meditation that I've ever done before, which is really why I was like, I gotta get on and I gotta talk about this, because this was really, really cool. And so, yeah, and as I got done, I just had this overwhelming feel of happiness as well as security, like, that everything is working itself out and almost this empowering feeling that, you know, if there was any worries or anything that has, you know, been, you know, coming into my mind, to just let it go, you know. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. You know, again, I don't, you know, can't say for sure whether this is a true Lemurian, whether this really did come from the Diamantina mine from Brazil, anything like that. From some of the ones that I've seen, the cloudiness and the, I don't know if you call that inclusion or what, but this stuff, these clouds in here, all right, I've seen that on the other Lemurian crystals. Now, I've seen tons of crystals, quartz crystals with the striations that are not from. I have tons, actually. I have a lot that I had just got, mainly little ones for grids. I do have a cluster set that I got a long time ago that I looked at, and it had, you know, every other with the striations and everything. But I mean, I got it actually for really cheap. The person, it was on a clearance thing, and I don't know, I just thought it was cool, and it was in the beginning of my collecting, so I picked that one up. But I started realizing how many different, you know, crystals that I had that had all the other things to it, and so, you know, I haven't worked with them yet. They're kind of just there in different places of my house and stuff like that. But this one I have been working with. This one I have felt an intense power, love, all of that stuff for. So to me, like I said, I'm letting a lot of the so-called things that people want to deem as this or that. And again, you know, with all of this stuff, people's opinions, people's whatever they say, all right, it's not the ultimate truth. Again, I feel that each and every one of us have that special intuition. We'll have that special feeling, and we'll get a different resonance individually and uniquely, because we're all unique, we're all individuals, right? So one thing that one person might say not resonate with you or not be true for your case might work for them, but might not be true in your case. So again, what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing may not be true or resonate with you, and that's totally fine. I respect that, all right? That's the awesome thing about all of this. But for me, it does. With the meditation that I just went through and everything that I experienced, 100%. All right. Now, like I said, I've got the this Colombian one with all of the striations and everything in there. With, you know, it checks all the boxes. So eventually, I'll do one with this one, but for right now, I'm just not there yet. Like I said, I feel like this one has a different purpose, but I will definitely try the meditation and some of the similar things that I do, and just to be able to compare and contrast. I mean, I feel like that's the biggest way to learn, is to try to do the same things with different crystals and see what the outcome is. And you never know, you know, right? That's what the experience is all about. So, all right, don't look too much into, you know, what's said about these crystals. Ultimately, your intuition is going to be the main key from my perspective. What you feel from that crystal is the main thing in my perspective. If you ask as many questions as you can, get as much information, check it out, you know, see the different characteristics of it. And first off, if that crystal resonates with you and you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel something totally abnormal and different with this crystal, then go ahead, check it out, see what you find, you know, with the characteristics of it. Ask the seller where it came from, ask them all the different questions that you can. And the more educated you are on the history is going to allow you to have really good questions so that you can ask them, and depending on the answers, are going to give you a little bit more clarification and, you know, check the boxes as far as what you're feeling intuitively as well. But other than that, you know, that's what I wanted to share with you. If you're familiar with Hibiscus Moon's classes, electives, and courses, if you haven't taken her Lemurian lab, I definitely recommend. It was a lot of fun. And again, just the meditation alone was an amazing experience that was definitely worth it. So definitely go check it out. But other than that, all right, I'll definitely be sharing more of my work with this crystal and everything that I do with it. And just one last time, check that out. Let's see if we can get some light to shine against it. Let's see, can we? Not quite as much as before. The sun's kind of left in my my lemon tree is shading this over a little bit, but overall, beautiful, beautiful piece. Probably my favorite out of everything that I got. So, all right. Love you all. Hope you have a wonderful day, and hope you resonated with this, or maybe it meant something to you. I don't know, but we'll see you in the next one.